So, folks, Andy Beshear was recently on CNN, and he was talking about how are we going to heal once we get past Donald Trump. And that really is the $1 million question. And I'm going to be honest with you and upfront with you. I don't know for sure if we'll heal in our lifetime. I want to be hopeful. I want to think that after the next 3.5 years of just being beat down, that people will finally have enough of this bullshit. I hope eventually people just absolutely gets tired and taps out. We were tired a long time ago. We were tired during his first presidency. We were especially sick and damn tired after January 6th. We were sick and damn tired after we watched him become a convicted felon, after we watched him be found liable of sexual abuse and defame the victim and take the nuclear codes. And then we were sure as hell sick of him at the idea of him running for president again, and we're sick as hell of him now. But maybe after another 3 years of this stuff, more people will start to move away from it and we can heal. But I'm going to play you a couple of clips of Andy. And I do appreciate I truly do appreciate Governor Beshear for trying to be a voice of reason in such a mad world. Take a look.
You can't be governor that much longer. So the question arises, what are you going to do next? You just signed on. You have a Sirius XM show. We were just talking about that during the commercial break. Let me put the question this way. What would you be doing differently right now if you definitely were not about to run for president?
I'm not sure how to diagnose that question. What I'd say is right now I'm trying to speak reason into chaos. I'm trying to be a voice of common sense, common ground, and getting things done. That's where I want the Democratic Party to be, but that's where I want the Republican Party to be. That's where I want independents to be. When we're done with this current presidency, we need to do more than just move past Donald Trump. We need to heal this country. We can't continue this us versus them for any longer. We need our McCarthyism moment where we can come back together. So, this year, trying to do what I can to be a reasonable voice. Next year, head of the Democratic Governors Association. We're going to win in a lot of places and change the map. After that, I'm going to sit down, and if my family thinks that I'm somebody that can help heal this country, I'll consider it. But if there's somebody else, I'll be for them, because at the end of the day, I care more about the United States than any title that I could have.
Governor Andy Beshear, we will be standing by to hear more about those discussions. Thank you very much.
And I love the fact that he said, if it's not me, if it's somebody else, I'll get behind them because I care more about the United States than anything else. I admire that statement, and I try to drive that point so far home, especially to people on our side. People on our side are divided, and it's very easy for us to become divided. We end up fighting amongst ourselves, and we end up looking away, taking our eye off the ball, and losing elections. What I always try to say to people is that no matter what your disagreement may be with a Democratic candidate like Andy Beshear, let's say he's the nominee, or let's say Gavin Newsom is the nominee, I'm sure there are going to be things that you would disagree with them on. There's things I disagree with them on. So that's going to happen. That's natural. We're not in a cult. We go off facts and evidence and science and the truth. We don't live in a delusional, world or an alternate reality. So there's going to be things that we would disagree with an Andy Beshear on or with a Gavin Newsom on. But we have to put our caring for the United States, our caring of the country above all of that, and realize what we are up against. Realize what we're seeing unfold right now with this presidency. He's doing everything he said he would do when he said, I'll be a dictator on day one. He's ripping straight from their playbooks and governing exactly like they governed. Sending the troops into our streets, terrorizing everybody, trying to pound and beat everyone into submission. That's what he's going for. And if he does walk away, and that's another point. We're sitting here wondering if he will actually walk away from this. But if he does, we have J.D. Vance to contend with. He's next in line. He's one heartbeat away from being the president, and he has sat back and he has watched Donald Trump do all this and get away with it. So wouldn't you think that he's going to put the accelerator down and try even harder? That's why we always have to put our love for our country above the disagreements that we may have with these people over one or two issues, because I guarantee you a person like Andy Beshear is going to be much more apt to hear you out, listen to you, and hear where you stand on something and explain to you why he can or can't do something at that particular moment than Donald Trump or Vance ever would be. But if it was to come down to J.D. Vance as the front runner and Andy Beshear, that would be awesome to see. The real, genuine Appalachian versus the fake hillbilly. But right here, Beshear talks more about what if it was Vance.
Assuming we're all into this whole Constitution thing in 2028, Donald Trump won't be able to run again.
Correct.
Vice President J.D. Vance may be the Republican candidate. How do you compare his political skills and acumen to Donald Trump's?
Well, I don't think he is going to have the ability to do certain things that Donald Trump does. I also think Donald Trump doesn't come off like he's talking down to people. Donald Trump doesn't generally act like he is better than people. And you see that with J.D. Vance. You see how he talks not just about people, but about Europe, about our alliances, and certainly the book that made him famous talked badly about people from my state, talked about our levels of addiction or poverty being our fault. Listen, our people are a proud people. We helped power the Industrial Revolution, powered us through 2 world wars, and the way he has exploited the people of Kentucky for personal gain is just wrong.
He did exploit the people of Kentucky, and he does talk down to people and does think he's better than everybody. And folks, that's something that growing up in the South, we pick up on that more so than most people. It's just ingrained in us that someone is talking down to us. We've always had that ingrained in us from the time we were kids. So I can see, and I've always said this, I can see where people in my part of the world would have lost track and lost hold of the Democratic Party, because a lot of times it does feel as though they're being talked down to. And Donald Trump, which I kind of agree and disagree with Beshear on that one. I do think Trump definitely thinks he's better than people, but Trump has a way of talking down to the people who he disagrees with, and lifting up and empowering the people that are voting for him. Whereas J.D. Vance just comes off like a pompous, spoiled, arrogant dude that just looks down his nose on everybody else. And he doesn't have the personality that Donald Trump has. No matter what you think about Donald Trump, and I know how the majority of my audience feels, I know how my audience feels about Donald Trump. Regardless of how you may feel about him, this cult of personality thing, it works for him. And I've always said there's going to be people that's going to come along after it, and they're going to try to emulate it, and they're going to miss. And I do believe J.D. Vance is one of those people who will try his damnedest to emulate Trump, but he's going to miss because it just comes off as though he's talking down to people. It comes off as though he's smug, he's a prick. He just doesn't have the ability to connect with an audience the way that Trump has, love him or hate him. So we'll see how it goes. And I realize right now it's way too early to be talking about who's going to be the front runners, who's going to be the nominees. Hell, at this point, I'm not even confident we'll have a midterm. So we're going to have to see how everything pans out. I also think it's ridiculous that at the start of that clip, assuming we're still into the Constitution, it's like that should never be up for debate. This should be the end for Trump. We shouldn't be sitting here wondering if he's going to come back for another term. And so I just think that what we're going to have to do more so than anything is try to, like Beshear said, be that voice of reason and speak a voice of reason to chaos. And I know that's hard right now because chaos sells, folks. Chaos is something that sells. Chaos is something that gets over. It's something that will get people's attention quicker than anything. That's why, if I'm just being brutally honest with you, I don't know necessarily how an Andy Beshear would fare, because I don't know if that voice of reason, speaking that voice of reason, that calm, cool approach, I don't know if that would work right now in this particular moment because of how chaotic it is. Maybe we need someone like a Newsom who will throw punches and troll back, But again, if enough time passes and people just gets beat completely into submission, then maybe Andy Beshear would be the absolute perfect person to step forward and say, "Hey, let's try to bring this back around." But there will come the day that people are going to grow tired of this. We grew tired of it a long time ago, but See, when these people went to the Capitol and tried to overthrow the election, they did it because they bought into a bunch of conspiracy theories from Trump, and they spent 4 years thinking that it got taken away from them and that Trump didn't get to finish the job, and thinking that Joe Biden stole something from them. Well, now they've got it back, and they've got everything they ever wanted. They've got him back, they've got the Supreme Court, they've got the Senate, they've got the House, they've got it all. But their grocery bill still isn't lower. You know, they're still struggling day to day. The only thing that they're getting to do right now is flex and own liberals and leave comments on YouTube videos. That's really all they're getting out of this. But their lives hasn't been made any better. And as they look around and they begin to lose their livelihoods, and they begin to lose everything they worked for, and they try to drive their mama to the hospital, and one day it's closed, and all these things that we said was going to happen starts unfolding right in front of their face, then maybe that's the moment that we'll be able to step in and try to talk reason again, and try to keep talking common sense, and try to heal this country. I have faith that we will get through this dark era in American history, and yes, it's one of the darkest eras we've ever lived through. I do believe we'll make it through the other side, but we have to stay consistent. And to my side, I would say we have to stick together. Hear each other out, have our disagreements, hash it out, argue, do whatever you got to do. Scream if you need to. It don't matter. It's okay. We're not in a cult. You're perfectly okay to argue and disagree amongst yourselves. But when it comes game time, turn and look to your right, and turn to look at that radical right that is absolutely shredding and demolishing everything that this country was ever founded on. That's what we got to stay focused on. And if we can stay focused on that and come out the other side, then hopefully we can truly start to heal.